Now, it's obviously not a case of go to the supermarket. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video, and hello if you're new here. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be another episode of my skincare series. I haven't done one of these for a really long time, and if you know me, if you've been here from the start, you'll know skincare is my jam, so I've really missed doing these. So today's episode is going to be retinol. Before we jump into the video, I'd really appreciate if while you were here you would subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and also leave a comment down below if you're enjoying the skincare series, or if there are any specific episodes or topics that you want to see, or any specific retinol questions. Also leave them down below. I will do my absolute very best to answer them or point you in the right direction for some advice. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. I think a lot of people get freaked out by retinol because they don't understand it, they don't know what it does, they don't know whether they should be using it, whether it's going to work for their skin. So from my experience, a lot of people tend to avoid it because they don't know what it is. It's not like moisturizers and toners and cleansers, which is just like a standard skincare ingredient or step in your routine. The first thing to address is really that retinol is a really broad spectrum of products. So you have the umbrella term, which is retinoid, and then everything falls underneath that. So every type of retinol or cream or anything that you have in that category is a form of retinoid, and you have basically like a spectrum of strength. So you have retinols at one end, and then you work your way across, and then you've got things at the other end like tretinoin, and I think it's called retinoic acid, I believe, is the other end of the spectrum. So effectively anything that you buy from the supermarket that says the word retinol in it, anything that the doctor prescribes you that is a retinoic acid or a retinaldehyde, it all falls under the term retinoid. It all does the same thing, it's just different strengths, different types, different formulas, different molecules. I don't really know the full science behind it, but it's basically all different adaptations of the same thing really. So what does retinol do and why should you be using it? So the first thing to say is that retinol is a really well researched ingredient. So if you're someone that's on the fence about using it and you think, oh, I don't really know, has it been around that long, I don't really know what I'm doing, do people really understand it? It's something that's really well understood in skincare, so it's not something that's new and upcoming and people are on the fence about. It's well researched, people know it works, it's been around for a really long time. So things that you read online about retinol you can more than likely trust, obviously as long as it's from a reputable source. But yeah, don't be on the fence about using it in that respect, because it's very well researched and very well backed up by the science. From research that's been done, retinol is one of the only ingredients that actually has repellent strengths. So a lot of skincare is preventative rather than, what's the other word for preventative? Reactive. I don't know if that's the right word, but a lot of skincare that you use is preventative rather than fixing the problems. So you use sunscreen every day to prevent problems. You use moisturizer every day to prevent dryness. The things that you use are to prevent things happening, so to prevent aging. Whereas retinol is one of the only ingredients that kind of can turn back time and work back over. If you start noticing like aging and fine lines and things, retinol is actually one of the only ingredients that can effectively turn back time and undo the mistakes and skincare damage that you have caused. Since it is a restorative ingredient and it can actually undo problems, it's good for everything. It's good for absolutely everything. It's actually got anti-acne properties, so that's a preventative benefit from it. If you suffer with acne, it's got anti-acne properties, so that will help with the acne getting worse. And then it helps with everything else. So if you've got sun damage, if you've got dark spots, if you've got hyperpigmentation, if you've got post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, if you've got fine lines and wrinkles, like anything that you are unhappy with in your skin, any problems that you've developed with your skin, I can almost guarantee retinol is going to be a helpful ingredient towards combating that. Now, it's obviously not a case of walk into your local Boots, pick up the first retinol that you see on the shelf, put it on your face every night and you'll have perfect skin. If only life was that easy. But effectively I would say as early as possible really, you want to start incorporating retinol into your routine, because whether it's going to combat damage that you've already got in your skin, or whether it's going to help prevent further damage or any damage at all, that sounds like a good deal to me. Like any skincare ingredient, this is something that takes time to work. You can't use it for a week and notice all of these amazing benefits that I'm talking about. Skincare takes a really long time. Your cell turnover is, don't quote me on this, but I think it's roughly 6 weeks it takes for a cell to turn over. If you've got a damaged skin cell, you can't expect to get rid of it immediately. Things take time, and retinol will help speed up that process, and retinol will help with all of the things that I've mentioned. But like everything with skincare, it's a slow burner. So if you are going to start incorporating retinol into your routine, which by the way I would absolutely recommend that you do if you're not already, the first thing to do is make sure that you're using the right retinol for you. So not every single retinol that you can buy off the shelf is going to work for everybody. Some people might need prescription strength retinol, which is what I used for a really long time. I was on Epiduo and I have quite a lot of videos about that. I'll leave those linked down below. And that is a form of retinoid, that's adapalene. So that is, you've got retinoid and then in the umbrella you have adapalene down there somewhere, and that is what Epiduo is. If you are someone that is suffering with acne or really bad acne scarring and you need a really strong retinol, then I would definitely recommend speaking to your doctor or dermatologist and getting something that is prescription strength, because that's the best and quickest way to combat these issues. However, if you're someone that just wants to incorporate it into their skincare routine and you don't have any really specific skincare concerns, you just want to start taking better care of your skin, maybe you've got a few little dark spots, something like that, then you can definitely just pick up a retinol from off the shelf, from online, from Boots, from any kind of skincare brand. And what I would really recommend with, if you haven't used retinol, start small and work your way up. So start with a really low strength retinol and work your way up gradually. Once you finish that bottle, work your way up to the next strength and work your way up to using a really strong retinol, because retinol can be very sensitizing to the skin. So if you're someone who's never used retinol before and you go straight in, you buy the top strength, trust me, you will regret it. It can be really sensitizing and it can cause a lot of dryness, itchiness, flakiness, redness. It can, like, just skin dermatitis basically if you use it too frequently or if you're using too strong a strength. So the best thing to do if you're an absolute newbie to the retinol world is start small. Find the smallest strength retinol that you can find. You can buy it in squalane oil, which is an oil that they mix it with to kind of dilute the strength of it, and start there. Apply it 1 to 2 times a week, slowly building up to 2-3 times a week, and then once you finish that bottle, go on to the next strength and just work your way up gradually like that. You will thank me for saying that, because it's not worth it. If you're not someone that really needs to use retinol right now and right today because you've got the worst acne scars in the world, then don't do yourself the damage of causing dry, flaky skin dermatitis, because it's just not worth it. That is definitely my number one tip. Make sure you choose the right retinol for you, and also make sure you choose the right retinol strength for you. If you're someone who's got really sensitive skin, definitely just start at the bottom. Another tip if you're going to start out on retinol is make sure you only ever apply it to dry skin. If you're just starting out and you don't know how your skin's going to react, if you apply retinol to wet or damp skin, the water allows it to penetrate even deeper into the skin, so any kind of sensitivity or dryness or redness it was going to cause goes even deeper into the skin and essentially makes it more severe. I would recommend buying the right retinol, buying the right percentage retinol, applying it on dry skin, and only applying it on a night. So when you do your nighttime skincare routine, that is the best time to apply retinol, because it can work overnight. It has a full 8 hours or however long you sleep for to do its magic, do its work, and it also sensitizes your skin. So if you're in the sun during the day, if you don't have SPF on, which you should, but that's a whole different story, then that's going to do more harm than good. Now that you've picked your retinol, you've put it on at nighttime, it's the right strength, and you've put it on dry skin, the next thing that I'm going to recommend is, like I say, start with 1 or 2 times a week and build yourself up to, eventually you should be using retinol 3, maybe 4 times a week, depending on what you're using it for, but I would say that's the maximum that you want to be using it. So I use it 3 or 4 times a week now, just in my standard skincare routine, with a strength that my skin can cope with and is comfortable with, and like I say, I will gradually work my way up. If even the lowest of strengths you're really struggling, as in it's causing dryness or redness or it's itchy, any of these things, then what I would recommend to do is use something called the sandwich method. Effectively what you want to do is you want to apply a layer of moisturiser, let that sink in, and then apply your retinol, and then apply another layer of moisturiser on top of that. So you almost sandwich the retinol in the middle of 2 layers of moisturiser, and that just, it gives a little bit of a barrier between your skin and the retinol, so it can still get into your pores and still do the work and do what it needs to do, but it's not as harsh because it's not the first thing that's going to touch your skin. So you could definitely start out by doing that for the first couple of weeks until you build up that tolerance, and then even if you go from a low strength up to a medium strength and then you find that that's too strong, then you could incorporate the sandwich method then. The other thing I will say is, like I mentioned earlier, retinol doesn't get along with a lot of other ingredients. So if you are using it 2 or 3 times a week, on those nights, I would recommend just using that. So ingredients you can mix it with are obviously things that are in your cleanser, they're usually fine. Moisturisers are fine. Hyaluronic acid is fine. Things that I wouldn't be mixing it with, other really strong actives. So AHAs, BHAs like salicylic acid, glycolic acid, tranexamic acid, anything with the word acid in it, basically stay away from. But what I do when I use retinol, just because you don't know sometimes how it's going to react, you don't know what's in other products, is I will literally wash my face, use my eye cream, use my retinol, use my moisturiser, and go to bed. I don't put anything else on my face on the nights that I use retinol. Obviously you can incorporate other things throughout the week, so if you've got other acids that you want to use, that is fine to use on other nights, but just on the exact same night that you use the retinol, I would just be safe rather than sorry. If you're already getting irritation from the retinol on its own, the last thing that you want to do is then go in with a glycolic acid toner and it's just not worth it. Just don't do it. That pretty much concludes all of the information section of this video. I'm going to run through a few little product recommendations of retinols I've used, loved, or have heard really good things about, and things you can have at all different levels essentially. So like I say, if you're someone who has really severe acne scarring or dark spots or anything like that, I would definitely recommend going to the doctors or the dermatologist, because they will be able to prescribe a really strong retinoid that will really work a lot quicker. So like I say, I was on Epiduo. That causes extreme sensitization, but it also causes extreme results. So if you need more help than what the drugstore can give you, that's what I would recommend doing. But like I say, if you're someone who wants to just incorporate it into your general skincare routine for just general skin health, then you can definitely get what you need online or at the store. Really good one to start with that has a really low percentage of retinol and is mixed with squalane oil, as I was saying before, is the Ordinary Retinol. So you can get this in a few different strengths, I believe. They do a 0.2% retinol in squalane oil, so that is a really good starter, and that's £6. You can get a decent sized bottle of that for £6, and then you can build your way up. So they then also have a 1% retinol in squalane oil, and so they have a 0.5 as well. So they've got 0.2, 0.5 and 1, so you can build your way up with all three of those, and they're all really affordable. You can get those from Boots, or you can get them online. They're £6 to £7, which is really affordable for a retinol. The prices can rack up a little bit with more expensive retinols. So as a starter pack, that's definitely what I would recommend. Get the Ordinary one in the squalane oil, which helps dilute it. 0.2%, 0.5%, before you know it, you'll be at 1%. Another really good one to try if you want something a little bit more high-end is the La Roche-Posay Retinol B3 Anti-Aging Serum for sensitive skin. So this one's really good for sensitive skin. The La Roche-Posay line is all really good for sensitive skin if you've got sensitive skin. The retinol from them it's £38, but it's a little bit of a bigger bottle, so it will last you a little bit longer. And yeah, I've used that one, I've loved that one, that's really, really nice. And then the last two recommendations that I have is the Paula's Choice Retinol Treatment. That's really nice, and again, that comes in a couple of percentages. I know they definitely do a 1%, and I think they also do a 3%. Don't hold me to that, but I do know that they do a stronger one. I love all the Paula's Choice products, their toners, their retinols, their creams. Definitely recommend. And the last one that I'm going to recommend is the Murad Retinol, but I think this is definitely on the pricey side, so let me just find that. Well, it's not too bad. It's £25 for the 15ml bottle, or £80 for the 30ml bottle. So like I say, retinols, the price can rack up a little bit if you want something a little bit stronger or a little bit more high-end, but the Murad Retinol Youth Renewal Serum is absolutely amazing, and if you're only using it 2 or 3 times a week, it does last, but it really just depends. If you're just starting out, you definitely don't need to spend that money. Start with the ordinary ones, work your way up. If you find that you're loving it and you really want to invest in it, then go for it. But there are other cheaper products on the market as well. I just wanted to give a range of ones that I've tried, ones that I love, and that are all at different price points and different strengths. Like I say, I personally have used prescription strength retinol as well. So if you've got the tolerance, stick at that end. If you've used a prescription strength retinol, you've already built up the tolerance, don't work your way back over. Just stay at that end, even if you're not using the prescription that was actually prescribed to you. Get something that's of a similar strength. So that is it, you guys. That is all the information, product recommendations and tips and tricks that I have to share with you all on retinol. I hope this helped you if you're somebody that just has no clue what's going on with retinol, or you're somebody that has it in the bottom of your bathroom drawer and you've just never picked it up, then I hope this was somewhat helpful. If you have any questions or anything, be sure to leave them down below and I will do my best to answer them. And like I say, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!